Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video here on the EGL channel. My name is Tunn. It's time for another CDL talk with Tunn. And after last week, I suppose some of you can realize that maybe I know what I'm talking about after being involved. Although saying that with the state of my pick'ems, who would actually know? It's time to delve into what is now going to be the major of stage number 1. Of course, we've been going through the league games to basically find ourselves with the bracket. Of course, some of you may well have seen me actually on the CDL broadcast. We got in for a couple of games, me and Brycey, so that was super fun. Absolutely loved that. Obviously, we were being concentrating on challenges, but this time around, we jump in for the CDL broadcast. And just on a note on that, the love we received was really overwhelming to a certain degree. Didn't really expect it, and yeah, it was just nice to see a lot of people who had not heard of us before tune in, and a lot of people who had done, obviously, over the last 10 years that we have casted Call of Duty say, you know, it was nice to see us back up there, and it was an absolute blast to be back up there. But besides the point, this isn't about me. This is about the games that are coming up during this bracket, during the major. We've only got 4 games scheduled, so those are the ones we're going to talk about. We'll sort of delve into the bracket, maybe just a little touch. But let's talk about the schedule. Let's kick it off with the London Royal Ravens taking on the Toronto Ultra. The Ultra definitely have fallen off just a little bit over the past sort of week or so. Things were definitely looking a lot better for them in week number 1 than week number 2. In the beginning of Super Week and then week number 1, and then towards the end they didn't really look fantastic. The Ravens, however, consistently being probably arguably the worst team in the CDL, which is unfortunate and surprising considering how their roster looks. I will say, look, they were unfortunate not to have Zero in there. I think he possibly could make a difference. And that's nothing on Parasite, that, you know, it's a lack of time, lack of practice as well, that probably hasn't helped them. But the Search and Destroy hasn't looked fantastic. Ultra's has, so you would automatically kind of lean towards Ultra for the series. Ultra would just need to take 1 respawn, and honestly, I don't think their respawn looked too bad. I said they had a bit of a falter towards the end of the week, but I don't feel as if that's a permanent thing. I feel as if, you know, they had a couple of tough matchups as well. The game against Paris is one that they're going to sort of say, we probably should be winning that one. I'm going to go for Ultra on this one, and bearing in mind that this is in the losers bracket here, so this is do or die for both of these two teams, with a win taking you on for a not easy game against the Rocker as well. So, interesting one here. I'm going to go with the Toronto Ultra in a 3-1 fashion. I'm going to give Ravens their due to say that their control didn't look too bad. I think we'll go with that. I think Ultra will take this one 3-1. I think realistically, the SMGs of Ultra I haven't seen enough from Alex and Dylan on London, and I'm not gonna blame them exclusively. They sometimes, you know, Shawnee's performing well for the Ravens, but the rest of the team aren't necessarily picking up that. Dylan's had his moments, as he always will. It's Dylan, but they haven't necessarily performed as well as I thought they would. Ultra's SMGs have been significantly better, I would say, on paper. So I'm going to go with a 3-1 for Ultra, losing the control. Mutineers against Surge is a bit of a weird one. These two teams, I mean, let's have a quick inspect. Like, how did they? I'm trying to remind myself how they did over Super Week. Of course, we got everything on the COD League website, which is always nice to see. We'll probably not go into my pick'ems just because I don't want to embarrass myself. And just have a look at how. I mean, that's the match. I wanted to look at Super Week. Come on. Here we go. So Mutineers beat Gorillas, lost to Paris Legion 3-0. Just trying to remind myself of their games. Lost to FaZe 3-1. Lost to Optic 3-1. None of them are easy games. Look at Surge though. Similar kind of story. Losing to the good teams. A close one against the Thieves. Beating some of the not so good teams. I think it's hard to say. They're both a kind of like low to mid pack kind of team at this moment in time, unfortunately for them. I think I'm probably going to lean towards the Mutineers on this one. Just from what I've seen from them in the week that we did get to see them over Super Week, it was a couple of unfortunate games for them, I would say. I've been impressed with how they've been playing and generally, and Surge are a bit up and down. If you look at that Surge roster, yes, we know that they're a strong team, but they have 2 guys on there who, if they do slip, I don't know if Octane and Gunless can really carry the weight. And I think it's a very difficult matchup to go with. I'm going to go on a limb and just say a 3-2 to the Mutineers. I think it is a difficult one to sort of decipher which way it is going to go. I'm going to go 3-2 to the Mutineers on this one. Now we move into the winners bracket. Now, it's very much a surprise to see the LA Gorillas in here, I'll be honest with you, but they've really had a really good performance towards the back end of Super Week. Found themselves in a good spot. Who did they actually go up against? So, Gorillas lost to the Mutineers, which was probably not the best start. Now looking through it as well, then lost to Chicago, but I think it's towards the back end. Yeah, 3-2 against Ultra is what's made the difference, hasn't it, after the opening weekend, of course. So the Gorillas with a bit of a late resurgence here, but honestly, the Thieves for me look absolutely fantastic, for the most part, at least anyway. I think they look a very, very good team. Back end of the week for them obviously wasn't necessarily as good as they would have liked to see it, and with all the drama that's currently going on as well, maybe they do want to come out and sort of cement themselves as a good team. Of course, going up against the Ravens, that was a fairly convincing one for them. Beat Surge as well already. I think the Thieves are very much a top team. I think they're in and amongst it. Their performance against Empire will not be what they wanted to see. However, I do believe that they have more to give than what we've seen in that 3-0. And ultimately, where they have more to give starts pretty much immediately against the Gorillas. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for the Thieves. I think the S&D looks really, really good. I think the hard point looks great. The controllers may be the questionable one for them. So I'm going to go 3-1 to the Thieves on this one, and well, hopefully we can get something done there. But moving into what is a humongous game, we do, of course, have Chicago against the Subliners to close it out in terms of the round 1 games. I think that's a crazy, crazy close game, to be honest with you. I'm going to lean Subliners. Just I feel as if they're a bit more well-rounded, and it would set them up for another really good game against the Empire. I think Chicago got a little bit way to go, but those respawns are really what's gonna seal it for me. I think this is either going to be a 3-1 to Chicago or a 3-2 to the Subliners, and I'm probably going to lean more towards a 3-2 for the Subliners. Asim has been popping off. He's going to need to continue to do so against some of the best SMGs ever in Call of Duty on Optic Chicago. Of course, when you're talking Scump, you're talking maybe a bit more New Blood and Envoy. That's where we're going to need to see Asim and the boys still keep it on going, and I think they will with 3-2 win. And that's going to set us up very, very nicely for round number 2, which we'll be talking about on the EZL TikTok. I'll link that below if you aren't following. The pick'ems are going in there every single day. But let me know what you think of this bracket. Who's going to come out on top? Ultimately, for me, I think the Empire are starting to get there a little bit now. So I think we are going to see them come on through. Of course, we're going to see one team come up against the Legion and Rocco in the losers bracket. Interested to see where that goes. Paris Legion have looked so much better as the weeks have gone on. But that's going to be it for the first round predictions. Let me know what you think below. If you agree with me and which way they're going to go, let me know. If you don't, let me know why. And hopefully you guys have been enjoying the CDL broadcasts. And make sure you tune in for the challenger stuff as well. That is going on happening this weekend too. But that's going to be it for this video. We'll catch you for the next one.